Why is it that everything got screwed as soon as I started the stream?
Did you go to the wrong scene again?
No. I figured out what it was. Something just got touched right beforehand, but nonetheless. Yeah, so, that's so...
Why is Neil there?
Oh, well, I mean...
He was always there.
Doxy's going to be about an hour late today because she's taking care of something, so, you know, that's cool. And if Doxy's, you know, if there's anybody that Doxy would want warming her seat for her, I'm just saying. It's Tyler. This is the answer. It's Tyler.
Tyler unfortunately couldn't be here today, so we've gotten the next worst thing, which is Neil.
Yeah, we got the simp. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Tyler was here, you know. Anyways, moving on. So, yeah, he's at bigger, better places to be than slumming it with these, you know. All right.
Hey, now,
hi, everybody.
I'm a delight.
Actually, you play a game with Tyler now, don't you?
I don't, but no, I don't. Doxy and Josiah do though. They're that Theros.
Yeah. No, I knew that, and obviously you played with Tyler when we were in LA together, but but that was a one shot, and mostly it was just us hanging out. So,
yep.
But
No, Tyler and I chat every now and then, and we've been meaning to play again together, but haven't had the opportunity. So.
You work on Wednesdays, so it's probably not an option. But next week, I'm definitely going to be playing some Among Us and probably a couple of other games between my typical D&D campaigns on Wednesday. But you're probably working, so it's probably not an option.
I might be able to join on my lunch hour. So, you know, there's always that option.
That's pretty funny. Well, you figure you out. No biggie.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I was going to say that's my last day before vacation, so I probably won't be able to join.
No, you don't want to feel guilty going into vacation. I hate that.
Bullshit.
No.
Senioritis. Don't do jack shit.
Oh, no. Coming back from vacation? Oh, yeah, that first day? Fuck that first day.
No,
like seriously. Pig roast.
No, I'm the manager for my team, and I've got to be setting them up for success for while I'm gone.
Yeah,
it's mostly just, I don't want to...
Pass it off to Neil. He'll do it.
That's a fair point. I'll just call Neil up and get him to manage my team for the day. Outsourcing is something that's not allowed in my contract, unfortunately. They did write that in.
It is funny that's actually written into the contract, but it makes sense. Like, you write into a lease, no subletting. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. So.
Well, he's also, you know, when you work with certain, you know, corporations or, you know, organizations, like, you know, you kind of have to be careful who touches your stuff.
90% of the stuff I do is confidential. So
yeah,
that's yeah.
So for those of you popping in from Lost Initiative, in case you're not familiar with what it is that happens here, this is actually the third campaign in a series of 3 campaigns thus far. All 3 campaigns are still going on. So the first ones who have started, if you care to check the backlogs, it's a lot. So if you don't, we all get it. If you care to check the backlogs, the first one that started was Kingmaker. They're in their 5th season right now. Then there was Regicide started almost a year after them, about 10 months after them. But they, because of number of sessions or whatever, they kind of caught up for season-wise. But yeah, so Regicide campaign is the second one that started. And this is the third one, Thronekeeper. This is season 4, I want to say. Maybe 2? No, 2.
Thronekeeper 2. Yeah.
Wow.
We're the slowest. Yeah. We are the slowest of the group. We've like missed like 2 months. Yeah. And like, if you add them all the time to, you know.
Yeah. To be fair, though, we also are doing the slowest moving job.
Yeah.
It's a political, you know, intrigue campaign. So.
Which is fine, of course. So as you're coming into this one, this is the third campaign in the series. They all affect each other, especially if we caught up back on the past 2 sessions. All the crap that they've had to deal with is Regicide's fault. Pretty much if anything's going wrong in any of the campaigns, blame Tyler. If you know who he is, blame Tyler. If you don't know who he is, find Apocalyptus _12 and just hashtag blame Tyler. And, you know, it's all good.
Just keep blaming Tyler until the sun goes down and you'll be fine.
Why is Chris not ball gagged? That's not Chris. That's actually Neil. He's from our Kingmaker campaign. Doxy will be joining us soon, but we knew how to make Doxy happy before she got here. If Doxy walked into her office and saw Neil sitting there ball gagged, just saying, it would be a good day for Doxy. All right, so more on this at 11. So, you guys, when we last left
Oh,
off.
one more thing.
Please.
To add what you said, if you guys are interested, there is a podcast that's doing a lot of recapping.
Oh,
so you
shit,
could skip
yeah,
a lot of the
plug them.
earlier seasons and check it out. So check out Scott's Discord. And they post there pretty frequently. It's about a weekly thing. It's not, it's fan service, so it might not happen every week, but it's a good time. So check it out, and it'll give you caught up without you having to watch. I don't know. You're probably at what, like 200 freaking hours of Kingmaker at this point. So
I don't even know. 200 hours, more than 200. Because 200 hours.
I was thinking you're at like
sessions.
60 episodes.
It's
We're
around
at like
60, I think.
session, right? So
Yeah, okay, maybe 200 hours of Kingmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, like 250, 200, 250.
I think you're at around like 240 to 280 at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Actually, your math checks out. So, Neil's not the only one here that likes plugging. So, it's Silencio Steve and Vinsexel in chat. They're the ones that put it together. And honestly, I didn't catch up with the most recent one, but honestly, it's very fun listening to two of them. When Abusive Snaga pops in to talk, he takes over the thing. So maybe maybe it's not as good of quality there. But for when the two of them are around, it's really good. It's good stuff. So, and they're finally taking on what's the word I'm looking for here? Guests, which is super cool. So I won't lie, I'm excited to guest on there because I'm definitely going to do it. I'm just going to wait a little bit first. I want other people to have.
You shouldn't.
No, I definitely will. Absolutely, I will. It's going to be so much fun.
You know what you should do?
I should go over there and announce the new campaign through their podcast. What?
Yeah, you really should.
What?
Or actually, I was thinking of doing like the old talk show thing where you turn it on the host, where you bring questions and you say, "What would you guys like to see? What was your favorite part?" Instead of them trying to pry information.
I'll have Messy put on a Scott mask. And,
Perfect. Ideal, honestly.
Yeah. All of it's backlogged on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Daelric. It's all there. It's almost all there. Let's just say that I'm backlogged by about 2 months, and I don't mean constipation. I mean, I really have to get those YouTube videos uploaded.
Hold on.
does,
You also need constipation.
I'm lactose intolerant and eat a lot of ice cream. What do you expect, okay? Let's move on.
No, I'm just saying, let's not ignore that.
Okay.
The important part of your personality, right? You're full of shit.
Oh, that was so slow.
Oh, that was good. That was so good. It is a slow build, to be fair, Scott. So
Sorry, it's been a long day. I've only got slow build jokes left.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I'm glad you let me build up to that point, though. I'm really glad that no one stopped that on the way up.
All right, there we go. So yeah, there's as you guys are, last session.
underground casino.
Yeah, last session you guys were went to the casino and everything. You went in. Before that, it was the event where Doxy actually went to the gala. The gala being the lady's birthday. She actually got to go in there, bump into a couple of people she saw. She could have used the opportunity to really take advantage of a couple of situations, but chose instead to she gathered the information, realized, holy shit, time is fucked. You know what I mean? Which is really, really a big discovery for the PCs of this campaign. To have discovered, oh my god, things are off right now. This is not a good thing. So sorry, let me just see if I can fix this real quick. There we go. Realizing that things are a little bit off, and so she was able to go and inform you guys of that, gave her a little bit of advice, but she mostly went back in and focused on the lady herself, figuring that this person is not only important to the crown of Amulta, she's also extremely important for the people at Ascaria. And since Doxy's character kind of has most of her roots set in Ascaria, it's a really good connection for her to have. Also, I genuinely think Crystallin was starting to have feelings for the lady. I honestly think that maybe she was a little distracted by an amazing wife walking in carrying a cup of coffee. No pants.
Ooh.
Scott?
Don't tell them that. Oh my.
She goes, don't help me. Thanks for the coffee.
Me too, Brett.
Likewise, honestly, I'm also not wearing pants.
Yeah, me too, Brett. It's okay.
It's all good. Solidarity.
Yeah, That's one of the benefits of being short. You don't have to worry about table heights. Like, you know.
One of the benefits
She
of
is.
sitting
She
down.
tells you. The gentlemen are saying that they're not wearing pants in solidarity with you, and Josh is saying something about short at you. I don't know. I wasn't listening. I couldn't hear him. He's way down there. Yeah. What up?
Speaking of
Goblins and trolls. Okay.
Are you the goblin or am I the goblin?
Oh, Spider-Rick Chronicles.
I'm definitely that goblin. He's the troll.
Okay, so
You
I'm.
are Spider-Rick
Oh, okay.
Chronicles. It's an awesome movie.
Well, chat. Just for
No,
your
we did not watch
this
Bridge
is
to
gonna last for
Terabithia.
a
She's
while.
4.
Oh God, I hope he didn't. Bridge of Terabithia. That's scarring. That is a scarring movie. to watch.
Brittany won't watch it with me. She has no balls.
That's
Okay,
like watching
this
My Girl.
This conversation got uncomfortable. Brittany's bragging about how huge her balls are and how many people told her today. So I'm gonna say let's get back to the campaign.
Okay, but Scott,
Yeah.
Yes.
wrong.
What?
Sorry, I got a 17 out of 18 in high.
What's wrong?
It's my.
What's wrong?
What?
What? There's nothing wrong. I
thought
got
Will, I thought
17.
Will just said
oh
something was wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
I asked if your wife was wrong.
About which part?
About the size of her cojones.
Oh, I don't know. She deals with me, so.
Yeah, that's my point.
She's at
Holy
least gonna
shit,
sit back.
lightning!
Wow.
Holy
Hurry
shit!
up.
A 16, a
The
17,
bot-
and an 18 in a row.
The bot is broken, guys. You spam. The bot is broken.
Hold on, the next person better be a 1. Eric, take the hit for it.
Yes!
No, you
Best
took the
roll
hit
I've
for
ever
me.
gotten.
That is
Yes,
the
I
best roll
know.
you've ever gotten.
We beat 10 for one Scott.
That's very funny.
All right. Let's get into the game. Last session when we played, the three of you. My apologies when Chris was with us. The three of you actually they had her party focused on trying to get as much information with her as possible and really building that relationship. You also discovered that apparently the Arcane Congress was here, and they were here because they were hired to be here. But why, you do not know. You found that information out from somebody who is a pyrite in the Jewels of Erōth. You had a fun little conversation with her. She's actually a pretty cool person. After kind of like everything finished out for you guys, more or less just hanging out in the caravan, being bored, and meeting the pyrite, you eventually went to an underground place where there was honestly a lot of gambling that was pretty fun. Oh, did we announce how much money what's his face made?
No.
You don't have to. I'm not gonna keep it. I'm gonna just he's drinking and he's just gonna give away. He's not in a good spot right now.
How much money?
Okay, it depends on how much money. Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's like 5 platinum, that's different.
Because you did cheat a lot.
I didn't cheat. I just used the abilities that gods gave to me.
God.
So why don't you find out how much gold it is you're throwing away? Could you do me a favor, Will? Roll me 3d6.
Is this how
It's
much
better
money
than
I'm
me.
losing?
So.
Oh no, 12.
Josh, you're rolling me 12d6 to find out how many gold pieces you're getting.
Oh shit.
All 6s.
Oh, I have the dice covered up. My apologies. I will get rid of that right now.
4 1s.
4 1 6 though. That was a really below average roll.
Yeah.
1/3. 1/3 of the rolls was 1.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
And then another 3 of those were 2s. That's really bad. That's
This is my rolls, guys. Yeah.
So
it wasn't a
29
game.
gold pieces, and that's definitely within the realm that you just spent it all that night. It's not like you walked away with crazy amounts. So that's probably a combination of wins, losses, so on and so forth. Actually, you know what? Let me take this back. I'm so sorry. Change narrative a little bit. After spending a crazy amount of gold, that's what you walk away with. Okay? Let's do it that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it
All
makes
right.
because you cheated a lot, you made a lot of money, and you were able to be saved, and eventually somebody kind of pulled you over and was like, So and you
Yeah,
were paying.
ghost.
Correct. So you met Ghost, fun conversation. Like I said, most of the night, because you guys did get a little intoxicated, had some fun, you don't really need to focus on that. From there, we were having you heading north, back to Heplon, to the capital of Amulta. The trek there, thank God, finally, around the tail end of that travel, when you're maybe a couple hours away from finally returning back to Heplon, that the rain started to lessen up. You were able to it's not like you had clear skies yet, but it's not quite torrential downpour like what's happening behind me. It's just regular rainfall. One of those like, because you're already so wet, you just don't, well, except for you, Josh.
I'm not.
Wet. You're pretty dry. So if you said you're already so wet, you honestly don't care, but it's not horrible anymore. An umbrella would actually help you. When you come rolling into Heplon and seeing that the same place as I continuously describe it, it's just not as beautiful as it was before the war really started taking its toll. And the gloomy clouds just add to that. The rainfall just adds to it. It just feels dank. I'm sure both of you guys have been inside large cities before, whether it be massive ones like in New York City, Chicago, or whatnot. You know, the ones where they have massive stone structures for buildings. Oftentimes, many buildings made out of just cement, right? Just like lots of cement. One of the things that you notice when it rains, and has been raining for a while, is just the areas where the water just seems to like cling to the wall, and you can just see like extra runoff happening in areas, and you can see there's almost like lichen or other types of like life starting to grow to the spots where it's just been so much rain for so long. That's kind of the feeling that you're getting, the look that you're getting walking back into Heplon. It's just been miserable. And while there are cobblestone streets that are inside the city during certain areas, and even, I don't want to say paved, but even smoother roads put in other areas, anytime you go walking off the road, it is just soppy and miserable and gross. Even the cobblestone, from just how much rain for how long, has been somewhat dislodged from the weight of like carriages or horses walking on top of them. The place just feels off and gross. Returning back to the capital after being gone for, honestly, you're not sure how long, because, you know, things are a little weird. What's the first thing your characters do? Do you try to find a room to spend the night? Like, what's the plan here? Crystalline herself, obviously, she's going to want to go back to the house that they have here so she can go and get appropriately changed. Like, do a little bit of a Crystalline act here. Well, since the rain's finally chosen to stop, I'm going to go and freshen up with something that isn't saturated like everything inside of the carriage. Laszlo, it would be nice if you learned the spell to cover more than just yourself. She's maybe not that sassy to Laszlo, but
no,
it was fun for me.
Not that mean, but you know, it's fine. Go put some leather on. Laszlo, actually, the first thing he's going to do is want to find someone that would know the time or the date. Because based off of what we just went through, he would want to know how long have we been gone or have we not been gone? Because that was part of the conversation that we had. So I don't know who that would be. If it would be I doubt a normal guard person would be like, oh, well, today's date is I don't know how educated the guard folk are here. So I'm going to look for that. Like if there's a town crier or anything like that that's sitting around. And I'm just going to find out how much time we were supposedly gone for.
Yeah, honestly. So when you go and you find, like, speak to the town crier, just try to find out what day it is. Pretty simple. Just checking the date with when you had arrived here originally, gave your report the next day. And then left 2 days, I think the day after that.
It was the day after, yeah.
You had gone down and you've come back, and in that amount of time, you've been gone for a day and a half? No, sorry. How long was it down there? It was a day down, 2 days back. You've been gone for 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Time lines up.
Okay, so that's... I really wish we could have talked to Lady Ascaria. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna head to my room. I have some documents to return.
Fair enough. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You could come if you want. Come to the castle. I got that extra room I never used.
I mean, I've got a spot I can stay. That's not really a concern. It's more I don't really know what to do with my time right now.
Don't forget, my former master is going to be looking for you. He might show up at a random time.
Well,
he's weird.
That's kind of the thing, right? It's not exactly like he set a time. I don't.
Oh, he set a time. You just don't know it.
Oh. Helpful.
He is. He actually is. He helps change your thought process.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe you. I believe you that he's helpful. Him not telling me what time he's showing up is not helpful.
Yes, I understand.
I'm going to go to the training yard.
Okay.
If you need anything, that's where I'll be, but I'll probably be staying in the barracks tonight, in all honesty.
All right, I'm gonna go return these things. So I guess I'll head back to the castle and then send a notice to Lady Ascaria saying I've returned. I finished your lesson plans. I finished the paperwork you asked me to. At your earliest convenience, we could meet again.
Yep, and you just kind of like throw that together in a letter and send it to her, so on and so forth. And honestly, you would get a shoot back saying that she would be willing to speak with you even that evening. Because when you send all that paperwork over, no, my apologies, not that evening, the next evening. Because if you shoot that over,
she's going to look over it and stuff.
Yeah, you send it with all of the paperwork that you did, correct?
Yeah.
She'll want to read it. Yep. Cool. So you put that through there, and are you just going to kind of go to your room and crash? Because I don't think you had anything else that you needed to do quite just yet.
Actually, I want to go and do some research about the history of, if I can, of the sill.
The history of the sill.
Mm-hmm.
We can try that one. You're gonna roll me as, I believe it's an intelligence research check. Is that actually the skill?
Yeah.
You can roll that for me to see what you have access to.
Okay. Not good. 12.
Oh, I forgot. They have the new macro or whatever they put together. It throws off the alignment on
one dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for specifically
for Firefox.
Firefox, it throws it off. It only rolls the one die. Ugh. It hurts my soul. But anyways, Josh, you unfortunately aren't able to find any records about the sill. You can't find anything pertaining to them. You spend probably, because that evening, you probably go looking a little bit. Don't really find much. Eventually pass out because it was a miserable few days cramped up in a carriage the whole time. It's nice to actually be able to stretch your legs in the big castle with your big room and wear dry clothes and be warm. Like all of these things it's a nice luxury. The next day when you continue your studies, the morning and probably in the early afternoon, unless otherwise interrupted, same idea. You're not going to be able to discover anything.
Yeah.
The sill, unfortunately, relatively new, relatively remote, relatively unstudied, and some people forbid even looking into it, though obviously not in Amulta. All right.
Yeah, supposedly.
As for you, William, when you go to the training yard and you just gotta go get some training done, you're able to make your way there, and the training yard, as usual, is not really done on hard ground. It's done in the mud. You know what I mean? That way when people fall, I should say in dirt, that way when people fall, it doesn't hurt them as much, so on and so forth. You can imagine. It's mud. It's just mud. It's one of those things where you distinctly remember those times when you were back in boot camp, when you were training originally, that after things like this happened when the training yard got ruined by training because of how wet it was, you were given the responsibility to reset the yard and make sure it was back the way it's supposed to be once the rain stopped. You probably think to yourself, those sorry stops. And do you actually just kind of like push and train for a bit with the various soldiers here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, realistically, like at this point, like Oscar's kind of just like not really sure what he's doing and not really sure what's happening, and he feels very out of his depth, so he's doing what he knows and he's just doing it as well as he can right now. And just when like you go to that like one thing that you're good at and just to look for stability, that's kind of what he's doing right now. And just he's pushing himself. He's gonna kick as many people's asses as he can right now, doing training, and he's gonna help out with training some new recruits as well if needed, just because that's kind of one of the things that he needs to do while he's in the barracks, presumably as well if needed.
You still don't have the leadership skill, do you?
I do, actually.
Oh, you want to roll it?
Sure. 8.
I feel bad.
I read that as a 0 overall, by the way.
Oh, the bot is getting us back. All right.
Yeah.
Had to roll for hot, didn't we? Didn't you guys? All you guys. It's your fault.
Who
At
rolled
any
a
rate.
17? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So whose fault is it again?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Blame LD.
Yeah.
Um,
Working on that, but that leadership just not great. Not great.
We're
That's
the
okay.
worst rollers.
Like, I don't know what's wrong with us today.
We both rolled the 6. By
Yeah.
the way.
That's my you just have more intelligence than I have communication. That's really the only difference here.
So
Yeah.
the way it goes, it's not that your lessons are poorly designed or poorly delivered. It's they're very, very, very poorly received. I mean, if you think about it, these guys are out here, or gals are out here in the mud. It's been raining. They're tired. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're gross. You know, you're coming in later on in the day as a fresh set of legs and fresh training, and we're like, what? And like, of course, whoever their CO is like, yeah, listen here to the Master Venator. He'll give you a lesson or two, and they're like, no.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this guy, good. The asshole who's good at this shit and is annoying. Great. Fantastic. All right, I can live with that. I can live with them just being upset about it. That's fine.
Before we move away from this and on to the next spot, Messi's offering to play as Chris Ellen. Do we really want to watch Josh simp for Messi?
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds nasty. When you finally make your way,
maybe Elijah's just showing back up in Amulta for a little bit.
when you finally make your way back to the, you actually don't forget you have like an apartment here. You have like a place that's yours.
Yeah, I actually think he would stay in the barracks anyways for now, just because he's been like transition night basically before going back to his apartment. He's been traveling with people for days. He's been living in space with people for days. To just go back to the apartment, he's gonna feel a little bit too.
I get it.
Isolated, you know.
I get it. I know why. He needs to shower with other people. He's like, I just can't wait to hit those showers. You know what I mean? It's exciting. So no, you go and clean up, go to your barracks, and you end up passing out. You sleep the night, and it's one of those things where you kind of go through, and because of the barracks structure, there's a bunch of different people, a bunch of different bunks. None is assigned to you because you're not assigned to this barracks. So you just go to find one that's unassigned, and you walk over to sleep in it. You notice that there's somebody else already sleeping in that one, but it's probably somebody like you, just like an interloper from elsewhere swinging through the capital. And so you just grab another one, and you end up passing out. You sleep the nights, no problem. When you wake up in the morning, you actually see that there's somebody sitting on your bed staring at you. It's an older guy, definitely human, but older, like much older. And he's just sitting there, and he looks rather skinny, rather frail, and he's wearing what you could describe as, funny enough, because you are right now, almost like a tank top in design. So you can actually see hanging off of his skinny, scrawny bones, just a loose, almost like tunic or a tank top, right? That's hanging off of him, and so he's like all wrinkly and almost prune-like, and he's just kind of looking down at you, like almost annoyed or expectantly.
Once more with feeling.
Yeah, Oscar will just sit up and then stand up and say, I presume you are Laszlo's teacher?
Who's Laszlo?
That'll be a yes. Oscar. And Oscar just walks over and goes to shake his hand, basically. Sees what he does at this point. Yeah.
He looks down at your hand and looks up at you and says, you didn't wash that. I saw you scratch your balls 7 times while you were sleeping. Wash your hands before you offer them to somebody.
Delightful. And Oscar's just gonna walk over to is there even a wash basin in the barracks? Yeah, he's gonna go wash over to the wash basin and just quickly wash his hands and like do it thoroughly and properly, of course.
Yeah.
But like, and then walk back over and then offer the hand again.
He stands up and takes your hand, and he's like, it's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
So you wrote to me.
Broadly speaking, yes. With Laszlo's help. Laszlo was a former student of yours.
What did you write to me for?
Do you know who I am, what I do at all? I wrote a bit of it in the letter, but I'm wondering if you recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I am looking for information on how to deal with a particular type of practitioner of magic. One from the Arcane Congress, but very specifically, a peacekeeper. Looking to get instruction on more types of magic, not how to do them.
Time doesn't mean much to you, does it? I wait 4 days for you. And then you talk so slow. Are you from the
Try
north?
to be thorough.
You
No.
served up north, didn't you?
Unfortunately, for a short time, yes, but it was not
It's
where I
settled
wanted
in.
to
It
be.
shows.
Good.
Peacekeepers, right?
Peacekeepers looking to
Ah, that's
be
what
able
the
to
shrimp
identify
was. He was a
magic.
peacekeeper. And he says that he turns and starts walking out the barracks.
Oscar follows, grabbing his stuff. Yeah.
So
What
you're
do
trying
you
to kill
know?
a peacekeeper? Shrimp piss you off?
No. Laszlo's doing a good job, but he can't give me enough information on how to take out his former colleague.
He stops and looks at you and says, he's talked to you about them?
Yes.
That piece of shit. Never told me a thing.
Well, you're not wrong about that. He is a little piece of shit. Good man, though, if you get to know him.
Sure. He says, and he starts walking. He's like, I'm hungry, you're buying.
Fair enough.
So you guys kind of walk. The man is clearly a little eccentric. You can get
Yeah.
that off of him a
Gathered
bit.
that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where as he walks out, he definitely has that, like, the clothing he wears are definitely way too big for him. They just, they sag off of, like, they're so baggy. You see him adjusting his pants several times, just walking from where you're coming out of the barracks to a place where you can go and unless, of course, you try to bring him to, like the grub hall, whatever the hell it's called. The mess hall. No, okay,
Nah,
cool.
I let him go where he wants to eat.
Yeah. Well, and anyways, it's not like he's particular, right? And you see him adjusting his pants so many times, just trying to get there. Like somebody who wants to sag his pants, but totally got the size too big, or just forgot a belt that day. Anyways, it's he it's very, like, kind of out there. He asks you a couple of basic questions on the way over, just kind of like about where you served, what kind of things you fought, so on and so forth. But the questions he asks don't seem to be very pointed questions. Like he's trying to learn much about you, because he's asking kind of like more
Broad
obscure.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like, what color is his eyes? It's like,
right.
okay, that's all right. Anyways, by the time you got to get to the place and you sit down and he orders food, which he ends up arguing with the person taking the order about something that they were serving the night beforehand, because, he saw a bit of it in the trash on the way in and was seeing if they could serve more of that for him today. And they were like, we didn't do it. The thing goes on for a while, and eventually he grumpily subsides to ordering whatever they have available. Right. And it feels like going out to eat with pretty much any grandparent ever.
Yep, I got you.
He's probably going to ask for it to be microwaved at some point. We all know them. So,
Good.
Real boomers. So you, when he finally, you have the food there and conversation seems to turn back, him leading it that way. So you try to kill one of his old friends.
Yeah.
Who?
Joseph.
You say it like I know him.
No, sorry. Of course. The fighter of the group uses magic in conjunction with weaponry and armor, and knows how to fight those in weapons and armor, specifically trained to fight people like me, seems like.
Sounds like you need a magus. Solves your problem.
Does it?
Is this not what you're describing?
I don't know. What I'm describing right now is someone who is an incredibly aggressive fighter who's very competent, fast, quick, and
Oh,
knows
competence.
how
I'm
to...
sorry. I confused this with Amulta.
Oh. Regardless, he's fast and he's quick and he can use teleportation magic, but more importantly, he can get through a lot of my defenses. And I'm fast and I'm aggressive too, but if my defenses are down, I'm much more at risk. And that's what I'm trying to avoid.
You've already faced him once.
Yes.
Did you try stabbing him?
Yep. Yep.
And?
Didn't work as well as I'd hoped. I'll be honest with you.
All right. Well, no mages. No stabbing him. Sounds like you need to be able to predict his moves.
That's what I'm looking for.
There's a way to do this. You know, you can almost feel the tremble. You can feel when somebody's stepping through and stepping back out. Know where it is that they're going before they actually head there, and know which way they're going to be returning before they actually come back. It requires a keen mind, though, so you're probably screwed.
Fair enough. How much can you teach me of that without a keen mind?
Oh, poor Josh. Josh, for some reason, is no longer a moderator. Probably some douchebag playing a joke and screwing it up. Let me just ban this moron in chat. All right, that's been taken care of. And let's make sure we remod Josh because he's a good boy.
I don't know who you're talking to or what you're doing, but sounds interesting.
Sorry, I was just remembering a game I was playing last night.
Oh,
Went off,
all right.
went off bit off kilter. So,
Fair enough.
he says, I could train you a little bit. I could try to at least train you a little bit of it. But let's be honest, you don't have a brain for it. You don't have a body for it.
Push me to my limits then.
He kind of like reaches out with his fork and like not like in a painful way, but like gently presses like with syrup or whatever's on it, presses into like your scar that you have right there, and he says, "What's that?"
That is several gifts combined together. Scars, magic, latent magic that Laszlo
Ask a
helped.
question, get a riddle.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Not 100% sure.
There's an answer. He's
Yeah.
learning. All right.
Laszlo did something. He said it will help me be more resistant to magics. He pulled latent magic out of the scar that I had from getting electrified for around 20 minutes straight by some asshole mage.
Electricity. You know, Laszlo's really good with electricity.
Yep. Yep. I've heard. I've seen. But, yeah, I've had my own experiences with electricity. I've had my own experiences with fire. I've had my own experiences with getting shot with a bunch of different types of magic over and over again. Arrows, slings. I can take a hit. So
Weird
push my body
flex.
to the limits.
It's a weird flex.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how I'm still alive.
Well, I can tell you this. That right there, it's resisting magic. That means that any ripples that you're gonna want to try to be able to see or detect, anything you want to notice, it's gonna be a bit muted to you. Kind of like trying to hear what your lover is saying through a wall rather than walking in and catching her pants down, right? It's gonna be a bit quiet. So if I were to try to train you, if you were keen enough to learn it, you're gonna be listening through a stone wall because of what you got there. You're gonna have to learn to drop your defenses if you wanna be able to see things. Can you drop that?
No. Not as far as I'm aware. This isn't something that's just a magical effect. This is a permanent thing in my body.
Well, then you're gonna have to try something else. You're either gonna have to have Laszlo teach you how to drop that. That way you can actually open yourself up to other things, because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to do this successfully. Or you're gonna have to rely on somebody who's a bit more keen than you.
Okay. Fair enough. So, once I get Laszlo to teach me how to drop this if necessary, What then?
Then we hope you're smart enough.
I'm not, but I'm a diligent learner.
Some things go beyond other things. Just because you are a good study with a sword, or can maybe even craft a door or something, doesn't necessarily mean that you can handle magic and feeling its ripples as they come through the air.
I know how to do some magic.
Like,
Basic. He's gonna cast False Aura on himself. He's not wearing armor right now, so this is easier to cast right now. And it's a failure. And he's gonna get annoyed, and he's gonna do it again. And it's a failure, and he's gonna get annoyed, and he's gonna do it again. And it's gonna work that time. And he's gonna say,
he literally just eats. Like when you try to do things and it doesn't work, he just like goes back to eating.
yeah. And he's just like, still getting used to that with this.
Wow, did somebody? Oh, you clicked it out a fourth time.
I clicked it.
I saw the success
because I
and I was
just
like,
assumed the third one was gonna fail.
when Josh was looking down, I thought Josh was flexing. Like Josh is
No.
like, bloop, oh, look at that! I just succeeded my first try.
No. I just clicked it 4 times. So I'm like, the third one's gonna fail too, because that's comedic timing. But yeah, no. So he's like, I'm just still used to casting it with this, but.
So he goes, oh, you did something.
And I've made myself like this now looks completely mundane.
Yep.
The magic that's emanating off of me looks completely mundane, and I've kind of persisted that. I said, "Can you tell that I have magics persisting from here now?"
Nope, you did a good job. I'd have to cast a different spell to get myself more prepared to pierce through your. You did a good job.
It took a bit. I'm still rusty.
But here's the problem. What kind of magic did you just use? You hid shit. And you defend against shit. You keep things quiet and hidden. You're like an illusionist and you're trying to learn how to cast a fireball. These are two very different things.
I understand some power arcana, and I understand some divination magics. That's what I know.
You understand about them.
No, I know how to cast 2 spells. One is a power, one is divination. I understand other types of magic to some extent because I have to for my job.
Fighting. No, I understand this.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about doing is opening your mind so you can feel these ripples, feel the change. You can literally see where he's stepping into with the intention of coming out the other side. This is something that you can't just easily learn. It's not a spell that you're going to learn to cast. This is an external awareness. And you're going to have to be able to do this while simultaneously dropping your defenses. And beyond that, you're also going to have to, not die.
I've got the not dying part down.
That's right. You were bragging earlier.
No, just apparently my body's too stubborn to let go.
He looks down at himself. He's like, I know.
I was mostly trying to relate to you, I'll be honest with you.
He's like, you talk to the shrimp. You find out if he can, teach you how to turn yourself off. Because clearly you know how to turn yourself on.
Okay. Fair enough. When will I see you next? After I've learned?
I suppose you could send me another message, and this time I'll show up 4 days later.
If that works for you. I'll let you know when I'm available maybe in the letter next time.
Also, one last thing before you go. Don't waste your time. Just have somebody else do it for you.
Why is that?
Because it's a waste of time, he says, like eating a bite of food. It's just a waste of time.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to go waste my time. And he's going to throw money on the table for the food and then leave him to his meal.
Before you even leave the establishment, you see him reach over and grab your plate and just like scoop it onto his.
That's fine. That's fine.
Not even like the plate swap, just like, I'm just going to put whatever that was on top of whatever mine was.
Yep. Yeah. Oscar will have not even eaten like a single bite from it as well because he's just kind of figuring out what he's wanting to do. At that, he's going to go straight to Laszlo.
The entire time, you noticed he didn't seem to be casting any spells. He didn't seem to have any magical auras or any twinkles or anything like that coming off of him. He just seemed like a weird old dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Oscar's going to go talk to Laszlo and just give him a good old what the hell. So Oscar's going to go to the castle and essentially state his business. He's going to see Laszlo and head over to Laszlo's room and then just knock on the door in a very Oscar way. You'll know it's him.
Before getting to that knocking on the door, Laszlo, do me a favor, roll me an intelligence check.
15.
Very good.
Just thinking for a second.
If it's lore based, I have that ability. Remember?
It's not lore based. Sorry,
Okay.
1 second. My apologies. Did you say whether or not you were satisfied with the 15? As I'm opening up my little chart here, just to confirm what my DC.
Yeah, I'm
would be.
okay with the 15.
Okay. Then that's where I'll sit. You're good.
Okay.
Back to the game.
Woo. All right.
You hear a knock. You eventually hear knocking on the door that morning, whatever.
Lazo will come and he'll open the door, and you'll notice that he's not wearing his goggles. And he keeps his eye. He still doesn't make eye contact though. Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Come on in. And you guys enter the room he never uses. It's like perfectly untouched.
Yeah.
I
met your old teacher.
Oh, false. Yes. I'm sorry.
No, he's an interesting old man.
He's crazy.
Clever. He's clever. Yes.
He has a mind to think differently, and that's what makes a good spellcaster.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even casting spells, and he could see what magic was on me.
Yeah. He might have been. You just might not have been able to pick it up.
Don't think so.
Well, it's always possible. I don't know I don't know that level, the level he knows of Amultese magic. It's not really structured like the AC, so you can't just go research it.
No, and what he was saying was what I need to know is not even a spell. It's a way of perceiving.
Okay.
And then he told me it was an absolute waste of time. And that I don't have the mind for it. Very delightful fellow. I told him I was very stubborn, and we'd see, and that I was off to go waste my time. Because one of the things that he asked was that whether or not you could teach me how to turn this off.
I never thought about turning it off.
Neither did I. I usually like not being electrocuted.
Yes, but if it's affecting outside, it's probably affecting inside. I never really thought about it. You're not a spellcaster. I never thought it would matter.
Well, you know how to cast some spells.
Yeah, like everybody else here in Amulta. That doesn't make you a spellcaster.
I know. I'm aware. But I'm just saying, like, you know, as far as the rest of the world goes.
Yes, you're badass.
No, that's not my point. Why does everyone keep thinking I'm bragging when I'm just trying to get a contextual understanding of what's happening?
Laszlo is just sitting there smirking. He goes, I know, Oscar. There is a way, I think there's a way. I never learned it because I hate it. My life's mission was to make things magically charged, to add magic to items, to make things stronger than they were. There's a spell that I know, that I've heard of, that can remove an enchantment temporarily.
By removed, you mean just...
Turn it off.
So, and you say temporarily, but does it have to be added back, or is it something that just comes back after time?
In time.
In time.
It's one magic
So it's
suppressing another magic, and
Right.
eventually it wears off, and
Right. So it's
it
a
comes back.
temporary guard switch. Got it.
Well, there is a way to drain it permanently too.
No, thank you.
I'd have to go and study and learn it.
If it's inconvenient, it is
No,
a waste
it's
of time
important.
after all, right?
If I can do it to you, then I'd be able to do it to him.
That's a very fair point. All right, please do learn that. Yeah, that would be very responsible.
It'd be interesting. I think I'd have to touch him, and I would like to avoid being near him.
Yeah. You know, what he was describing, what Faust was describing, being able to see where he was going to go before he went, being able to see what he was going to do before he did it. That's not just keen instincts that he's talking about. That's not just predicting. That is knowing. That doesn't seem possible to me. What could he be talking about?
Well, there's lots of magics that let you see into the future temporarily for short bursts. A lot of divination type spells in the Arcane Congress allow that. But if you're talking about not casting spells and doing that, then I would assume what he's talking about is sensing the pull upon the magics around him.
Sounds about right.
I can sense it occasionally. The magic's ambient in the air. When we first met, that's how I did a lot of the searching to see if anyone was listening.
Right.
It's possible. It's not easy. Your mind's not encased in magic like mine is. It's not.
Yeah, he said I didn't have the brain for it, the mind for it. So
I don't believe that. You're.
I do, but I believe I'm stubborn enough.
I mean, there's things that you can't fix even with being stubborn.
People keep telling me that, and yet I'm still alive. So that's
He keeps
Oh.
He keeps bragging about that. You actually hear him say that.
Oh, master. I didn't realize we left the door open.
Nope. You're gonna have to roll a perception check, and you got a +2 because of invisibility.
Oh, I got this. 15. I don't know if that'll pass his willpower. Yeah, because mine's 14.
Did I hear that out of curiosity, or was that specifically to
Nope, both of you guys heard it, no problem.
Okay.
Do you want me to see him, or do you want me to fail? I think that's a fail, honestly, because I have a 14. He's a master. Like, he's...
No, you would be able to see him.
Oh, all right. I
But
look
you
dead
don't
at him.
You don't see him. Instead, what it is, now that you're actively looking at it, you didn't get it on your own before, you see there's a sensor. There's a divination sensor looking at you, and attached to that sensor, there's probably a spell that allows him to speak through it.
Yeah, just FYI, the Fantasy Age game does let you do that.
Oh, there you go.
At master level, it
Cool.
lets you speak through it.
There you go. He's speaking through the divination sensor.
I look up here and he goes, "Hello, master. It's nice to see your sensor again."
Sensei. That's the word, isn't it?
I guess.
Senpai, if you prefer.
I don't know what those things mean.
Should I leave you alone? Do you need a moment?
No, he's probably here to talk to you. He's just him.
He could have easily talked to me back at the restaurant.
You don't get truths from actually talking to people.
Okay.
He finally learned the lesson of the second mask.
I don't know what that means. He talks.
So I take it you didn't learn the lesson of the second mask then.
You'll see.
I thought I just did.
When they like over where the sensor is, you'll see there's kind of like a ripple for a moment, and he comes stepping through and into where the room where the three of you are. Oh, I might be breaking some laws being in here right now.
I didn't know you could do that. That's
It is very spooky, I'll be honest with you.
I like that.
Don't get... Why are you giving him ideas? I'm saying that to Foss.
So, Foss, I was thinking, he's not of the magic mind. I don't think it's a smart idea for us to try to get him to turn it off. Maybe in conjunction with me, I could turn it off and then he could focus on what he needs to focus on without having to focus on turning it off.
Looks like you're looking for a shortcut.
No, I just... Sometimes students have to be taught to their level.
I mean, I'm right here.
Sorry, I'm trying to be polite.
Oh, I thought she was talking about herself.
I like this guy.
I could try to teach you. I could show you. It's more advanced magics, though.
You're going about this the wrong way. You're looking about disabling. You're trying to disable magics that are already sitting in place. But you don't need to do that. You just needed to stop. Not be disabled. Just not.
You're talking about control, not about...
Suppression. Exactly.
Right.
See? Yeah, maybe he has half a brain.
No, he's smart. It's just he's not a mage. How you can't just stop magic with that you didn't cast yourself. That's
Magic can exist, and magic cannot exist.
Out of curiosity, if Oscar sits down and starts focusing on his scars and starts focusing on specifically what's coursing through him right now, is he able to kind of put a stop to the electrical flow at all? You know when like your hand's seizing and you kind of
Focusing on it.
Focusing on it and try and stop.
I'd
I have
say no.
self-discipline focus.
Okay. You know what? Because you specifically have that focus, I will allow you to roll. But I'll tell you, it is a very high DC. I'll give you the number.
Well, I
doesn't
don't
matter.
need it at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Doesn't
10
matter.
is, 10 is too low. But, trying to focus on that and just kind of taking it and just being like, yeah, no, don't know how. Not offhand, anyways. But he goes into kind of like a meditative position and thinks about it and focuses on it.
of course magic is on or off. That's obvious. Of course. But turning it off is different than just it being off.
Are you talking about actually turning it off, or are you just talking about dampening it?
Who did you ask that to?
Foss.
Oh, okay. No. Off. Gone. Not there. But not suppressed. You're talking about suppressing. Putting a blanket on a fire. I'm talking about the fire being gone.
Interesting.
Is it? Are you talking like if I'm holding on to a spell
For somebody
and I
that's
just
so
let it go?
cuddly with Arceum, I thought you would know such things already.
Oh, I mean, I spoke to her once. Is there something I should know about her? I did see her speaking to the Arcane Congress.
Oh. I don't spy on beautiful women that serve the
Oh,
crown.
of course.
Of course not.
Of course. Yet you're able to just walk into the castle.
You know that I am still part of the Amultese military, right?
And I explicitly said I do not spy.
Uh-huh.
I'm-
After... Yep. I'm just going to remind you to not say anything like that around me. Just
Tell the truth, exonerating myself from any would-be concerns, he says, gingerly finding a spot to sit down in the bed. I'm just a feeble old man. I could never do such a thing.
Oh, you're so young. No. I'll sit next to him and go, all right, can you teach me? And then I can work on teaching him.
I don't think you
Me and him will
understand
have a
it
lot
yet.
more.
I don't think you
Yes,
understand
that's-
yet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Teach me. I have more time with him than you will. We have to leave soon. After we give a report, we'll probably be leaving.
You swore away the Arcane Congress, yes?
Yes.
How many times have you used their artifacts? Just in the last month. Some swearing you did.
Just out of curiosity,
is
how
fair.
often have you been spying on us?
What?
No. I mean that without any concern, because obviously you're monitoring your old student, and I understand. But just out of curiosity, how often?
He almost looks defeated for a moment. He goes, so there's somebody that's pretty close to the three of you. Actually, it's one of the three of you. Pretty smart. And can actually let things go.
Castellan.
Maybe I'd like an opportunity to train with her.
Oh. I'm gonna reach into. I'll walk over to the room to where my bag is, and I'll reach into it. And I'll pull out a scroll, and I'll hand it to him. It's the sensor scroll, and I'll say, "I don't know if you could use this. I can't."
You hand him the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
He holds it up, opens it for like half a second, and he goes, "It's a gnomish."
I thought you knew. You know what? It's a language. Just turn it on.
I know Gnomish.
And you're walking around with them too. How many more do you have on you?
I have to count. 1, 2, with the scroll, 3, because I broke the other ones.
So, you have a lot of Arcane Congress stuff. You can't even turn off who you were. And you want to turn off all magic to yourself?
I mean, I'm just using the tools available. We were literally in the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mean turning magic off to yourself, how does one approach that?
Yes.
You can't turn off yourself.
The two of you have some research to do. Figure things out.
Exactly.
When you get yourself together, send me a letter.
Hey, by the way, no more spying on Lady Arceum.
What?
Even if you weren't. If you weren't, no more. All right?
It was only for the past few days. You asked for me, he says, as he like starts stepping and
Shimmers away.
They'll open up like a little portal thing for him to step through, and you imagine ripples on the other side, and so on and so forth.
I'll send you
You
a letter
asked for
soon.
me.
I'll send you a letter soon.
Is he right? Is this wrong? And I hold up the 2 wands. I gave him the scrolls. I hold up the 2 wands. Should I not use these? I thought they're tools. They're not.
Well, that's the question. Are they just tools?
Yes. They're enchanted items. That's it.
Are
I
they
mean-
tools to the Arcane Congress?
That's fair.
Much harder question to answer.
No, it's not. You're right. Yes, they are. I need to. Yep. I'll hand them to Oscar and I'll say, "You're strong. Maybe you can snap them.
Do you want me
They're
to?
magic items. I don't think you can."
You can.
Do you want me to?
No, but you can turn them in.
It's like watching somebody take a hacksaw to a battery. Nothing bad will happen.
I mean, no, it'll just spill over and melt the floor and then go to the center of the earth and we all die. Don't play with batteries, kids.
Or do. We're not your parents.
Yeah, so I'll give you the forked one and the illusion one, and I'll turn them in. I don't know what.
Have you learned from them?
No, but if they're AC, I don't want to.
Fair enough. Out of curiosity, who do you think I should be turning those into?
I would imagine you guys have a military quartermaster.
Yeah, we do. Do you want them going to the Amultese military?
You do know that there are a group of mages, specifically, that are trained to use magic items from Arcane Congress so they can find supplies on the battlefield as they push forward. I said battle. I meant battlefield. As they push forward. I was like, battlefield? I was like,
Needlefield.
Actually,
from Wisconsin, don't you know?
I want you to hold on to them. Tonight, I'm supposed to meet with Lady Arceum. I will ask her if she wants them. She's very interested in AC stuff, in
Why?
Arcane Congress. I don't know. Maybe know your enemy? I don't know. I plan on asking her tonight. Was trying to be more
Don't ask
Crystalline
her
with
if
my
she
approach.
wants them. Don't let her know you have them. Ask her what she wants with the Arcane Congress in the first place, and if you deem her response worthy of having them, gift them to her. But if not, never mention that they exist. I can give them to people who can put them to use. In a good
Okay.
way, in a way that will help Amulta.
Okay. Fine.
Look, I don't know much about this whole communication stuff. I don't know much about politicking.
Neither do I.
But if I've picked up anything from Crystalline, it's don't give your hand away. Which apparently I can't learn for cards. But for speaking, I'm trying to pick that up as much as possible.
Okay, just to be clear, I was drinking.
He's a robot. He's a robot.
Quick, zap him with lightning!
Yeah,
I may have asked
hit him with the
how-
wand.
Hit him with fork wand! Fork wand!
He looks so. Look, he powered down. Get him quick.
Oh,
Oh, you know, you just want to like poke his mouth, like.
Yeah, just like. Oh, are you back?
Oh.
Nope.
Josh EXE.
Well.
Should we power cycle Josh?
I never left.
Oh.
It sounds like he's screaming for help. Oh, I
It
never
sounds like he
left.
Help!
Oh, there he is.
Help! 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 I never left. I could hear you the whole time.
Help me.
You guys are making
Well,
Help
you
me,
only
Leslie.
said
I'm
great
stuck in the
things.
well.
Can somebody
that?
please clip that? That was
Oh
fun.
no!
What's that? Josh is stuck in the well?
I hate this. I hate this house's internet. Ugh.
I was
Sorry.
I was talking to an old buddy of mine, actually, another D&D streamer that I just found out he started streaming a couple days ago. I talked to one yesterday. -2 Charisma is the Twitch channel. Anyways, his same issue. He's like, yeah, I was actually looking to buy a house out in the area where he is, which is south of here, but. So anyways, he's like, but the problem is all these fuckers fleeing New York are just buying houses cash, 20 grand over asking. Like, and that's literally the issue that Josh is dealing with, is that people from New York are like, how much you selling that house for? 500,000? How about 550 cash? And people are like, yeah, okay. And they're like, no, you move tomorrow. I'm getting out of that place. And
Yeah.
I would love to kick someone's ass out of their house and take their house right now.
yeah, it's
God.
it's crazy. It's legit. The market around here is absolute insanity. So everybody I know that's does anything with houses at the moment, they're like I have another friend of mine. He's looking to buy his first house. He wants to buy a 3-family. He's like, every place I go to an open house, and if I inquire about it later on that night, they say they already got an offer for whatever amount over asking. Are you interested in offering above that? And he's like, no, I just saw the place. Anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy. They go in 4 days here.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
It's fire. It's insanity.
It's the opposite in Florida.
Well,
So
I know it sounds, but that's why Brittany and I are like, let's refinance. Like, everything's insane right now. Let's do a whole bunch of paperwork to make like the next 30 years not so bad. So it's crazy. I don't know, this past year. Nutty. Moving on. So, yeah, you guys, what were we just talking about before? Oh, Josh, you were in the middle of saying something about the wands. Can you break them, give them to them, actually hold on to them, but you didn't say why to hold on to them.
yeah, we did. We had that whole conversation. He said, ask Lady RCM.
Oh, that's right.
If I find her answer, then use it. Then give them to her. If not, then we won't.
Then why did you freeze?
I don't remember.
you were saying we were talking about politicking, and then I said I can't learn to show not show my hand, and then you were starting to respond.
Oh yeah, I cheated.
I know.
Yeah, I just needed a win for that night.
Yeah. I know. Look, you don't win 22 hands in a row without cheating. I didn't want to call you on it because I know you've been a little down lately.
Well, I thought that I was just the murderer of Syl, the genocide of a nation of people, and now they frame me as the enemy of the Arcane Congress. I always held on to hope that I could go back to Eustace, see my family, my brothers and sisters again. I don't think that's a possibility anymore.
You know, if we head up to the farmland up north, you're coming to see my family. We're going to go have stew. It's not going to be very exciting, but it'll be a family meal.
That'd be nice. I think it's time for me to stop hiding. And I'll gesture over to the goggles that I'm not wearing, even if it's uncomfortable. I want to... I don't know if I can do it now, but I want to travel north. I want to go see the Syl.
We may not be able to right away. Can you wait?
I got hundreds of years.
Well, I'm hoping we don't take hundreds of years. I don't have hundreds of years. I've maybe got another 50 in me. So that's if I'm lucky.
Well, it doesn't matter. Once we leave the borders, we'll be hunted by Josin once again. I think we're safe right now. I think
Magic off.
Amulta is way more messed up than I originally thought they were. I'll look around and I'll make sure there's no. I'm gonna actually cast a spell to make sure there's no fucking sensors or anything around. All right, success and 5 stunt points, so it's free.
You can see the residual
actually,
magic of your master sensor still sitting there, but he is not actively. It's like
it's just residual.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you, thank you, Inert.
It's Slimer going through somebody. It's that shit left over.
Yeah.
Did you watch that recently? Is that why? That's a weird reference.
It is.
No, I grew up on Ghostbusters, man.
Fair enough.
Whatever you say, bro.
Don't judge me.
I do every day.
It's always on my mind, man. All right, so I can use 2 to, but I want to use lasting spell. So it's normally instantaneous, but now it's gonna last 2 hours. And then also use the last 2 on making it free because I can.
Whatever you say, buddy.
So so I'll keep an eye out and I think Amulta is failing horribly. And I don't just mean the war. Perindale is not a problem. Let's be honest. The wall is a wondrous thing, and Yovance is a great meat shield. It's horrible that they're being used that way, but they're a great meat shield. I think the council is a problem. Lady Arceum has close ties with the AC. Lady Isaac is in the bed of Ascaria.
And Crysellin lately.
And Galderia seems to be in the pocket, the Qatar guy seems to be in the pockets of Galderia. And then the other lady, I don't even remember her name that Crysellin tried to talk to, just blew her off immediately. I think we have a bigger issue.
She was headed to Galderia. She's more of a connection there as well. Qatar is slave to money.
Yeah, which is a problem.
That is a problem.
Ascaria has a lot, and so does the Eustace. Your mind would be blown seeing the structures that they had. They had rooms that could send you across the country just by walking in them.
Could use one of those right now. What do you suggest we do about the council then? It's not like we're going to disrupt that.
We can't stop that.
That's my point.
We don't have to be nice.
No.
I'm not a hero. I'm never gonna be. So I might as well live up to my name and be the bad guy. Let's blackmail them.
You're not the bad guy, Laszlo.
No, I may not be, but it's not what's going to be written in the history books.
Well,
I know.
Here's the question for you. Are you going to let the Arcane Congress write the history books? Because if you are, then yes, you absolutely will be a villain in it. You'll be a footnote villain, though. You won't even be a big deal. Or do you want to let Amulta write the history books? And do you want to face down the Arcane Congress? Do you want to take them down? And do you want to make sure that they don't have any chance to make you out to be a villain? Because those are your options.
To be fair, the Arcane Congress did make me kill all those people. They only told me to. I chose.
You did. But then you chose to change. It doesn't make the mistake.
I chose to run, not
doesn't.
change.
What are you doing here? What are you doing with me? What are you doing with Chrisellen?
All right, fine, fair point.
You are acting on change. You are not changed. You're not different than you were, but you are becoming different than you were. That's an important step. Admitting that you know it was wrong, admitting that you know you need to change, admitting that you know that that's not who you want to be anymore. Those are big steps, Laszlo. And for stubborn assholes like you and me, they are big ones. Not everything can be fixed by being stubborn. I know that. You know that. Your very weird old master knows that. But that doesn't change the fact that each one of the three of us is an incredibly stubborn person who gets by in life by being fucking stubborn.
All right. Well, then if we're not going to be the bad guys.
Oh, I'm not saying we don't blackmail them. To be clear. I'm not suggesting we should be good either. I'm suggesting that we do what we need to help Amulta.
I feel like they're not going to move unless we force their hands. They have it comfortable. They're not too far from the Yovance nobles.
There are two things that are temporary right now. Yovance's allies and that wall. When those fall, Perendel is a problem. We can live behind it for now, we can be behind it for now, but those things will fall. It is only a matter of time. So the question is, what do we do? How do we go about it? And with this council, what are they going to do? How are they going to approach it? What are they going to do about it? These are the questions that need to be asked of them. And they're going to be hard questions, and not a single one of them is going to like it. And they'll all have different answers.
Well, I'm already not liked in the court. I could ask the questions and it wouldn't hurt my reputation anymore.
Military strategy, more my sphere. What happens when the wall falls? What's our plan? I can deal with that. What happens when Yovance falls? What's our plan? That's my question too. Everyone's going to have a different answer. Not a single person is going to have a stable answer, because none of them have thought about it. Not really. Sure, it's been a passing thought. They've considered it. But to most people in Amulta, the wall is eternal. The allies that we have are stable and steady. What happens if Galdaria turns on us? Which they could in an instant. What happens if Iscaria decides, no, we're not just embargoing anymore. We're going to go to war. We have 3 massive borders that are currently not very well defended.
Yes. Especially the north.
Especially the north.
Okay. So we need to start asking the hard questions and do our job and not try to be nice.
I agree. I've never been good at delicate.
I think the problem is Chrisellen's a flower. Thorns and all.
Yeah.
But she's powerful in a different way than you and I. We can't play that game.
We don't have time to play that game. Chrisellen is very good at what she does. Court is a mess. The queen... I don't know. Who was that advisor who spoke with her, pulled her aside, stepped in, asked a question, and then stepped back?
Would I know him? I know that Chris Ellen recognized him, but I don't know if I know of him.
No, you're the one that recognized him. Not her, because you're the one that was in the court.
But I thought she knew him, and I didn't. I just knew that he wasn't in that position originally. He was taking the place of.
I don't think Chris Ellen. I don't think Chris Ellen
no.
really knew who he
Oh,
was.
That was
okay.
all you. That was all you.
Yeah, it was all
All right.
you.
So,
I don't remember his
just to
name.
recall, I don't remember his name, but I remember that he was originally.
I just gotta find where I have those notes because I have different notes in different places.
He was like Heathguard's assistant, and then now Heathguard's gone, and he kind of stepped up and was talking directly to the queen now instead of going through Heathguard. I don't. Yeah, I honestly, I thought it was her. I would have wrote it down. I misunderstood.
I don't think it's.
I'll blame it on the internet.
There you go. I don't think it's in our group POI, unfortunately. Just looking here.
We haven't updated that in a bit.
Yeah, that hasn't had anything added to it. Does anybody in chat remember that guy's name? That was oh god, I gotta find my notes. I'm so sorry, but we'll call him Phil for now. We'll just say Phil.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just to keep conversation flowing because you guys are
Yep.
in the mood.
I don't know much about him. I know of him. I've seen him around. I've never really spoken to him. You gotta remember, Heathguard doesn't like me, as you probably have gotten from the mirror image of him.
Well, what I've gotten from the mirror image of him is that you are extremely trepidatious around him, and he is not certain about you. I don't think he trusts you. I don't think that means he dislikes you. Just
He has,
my own
yes.
insights there for you.
Octavius is his name. That's right.
Octavius.
Octavius. All right.
Doc Ock. Got it.
Octavius.
Okay. So let's talk to Heathguard then. He'll have more insight on these people. He spent years around their families. Then we will get. I mean, Criselli could probably find the information, but we don't have that. We don't have those opportunities.
Well, we also don't know what is going on with time right now. I don't love
I don't think we
that.
should focus on. I don't love that either, but we shouldn't focus on that.
More what I mean is just everything's more urgent now. Let's just make sure we act. We don't have time to just sit.
Okay.
So yes, let's talk to Heathguard.
All right. I think you have the shard.
I do. I'm gonna pull it out and show it to Laszlo. And do you think it should bend like that?
What do you mean?
Don't worry about it. Anyways, he shows you the shard and
It's all good. It's good, right? It's good. It's good. Don't worry about it. There it is. That's right. Sorry, it just took a while to find the notes. It's Octavius Devault. Devault, Devault. Octavius Devault.
Yeah, I put his first name in there. So I'm gonna look into the mirror and I'm gonna say, Heathguard, I need to speak to you.
Same as always, when you look into the mirror, what you see is Heathguard seems to be alone in a great distance area, like good distance away, so he's small and kind of out of focus. And then as you focus on him, it kind of pulls it closer and much more crystal clear. And then he's standing there. Laszlo.
I need your help. Oscar and I do. The council, we're not the politicking type, but we're noticing signs of not disloyalty, but maybe less loyalty than what I would expect from the council members. We need your help, maybe some insight you have on each of them, something that we can use to help cement loyalties to Amulta. Right now, they seem to be very loyal to Escaria,
their own interests.
Daria, their own interests.
Seems as though you gentlemen have finally dared to step into the court.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
If you... My apologies, let me take that back. If I knew of a way to inspire them to be a little bit more focused on Amulta and a little bit less so on their own endeavors, we likely wouldn't have had to hire a jewel of Erōth and a, well, let's just say an outsider to assist our Venator in this matter.
Understood.
But perhaps you know of an angle. I have a little bit of information that you can work with. Who specifically are you looking to speak to? Certainly not openly in court.
No. Well, yeah, actually, that was our plan. Okay. I'll look to
Okay,
Oscar.
No.
Openly in court, then. If that's your plan, are you looking to give a stirring speech to woo the masses? Perhaps a slow clap after you've completed it?
No, more of realizations of a dying nation.
Asking the hard questions. Do you know, and I'm going to ask you the hard questions now. What is the plan when the wall falls? What is the plan when Yovance falls?
The wall will not fall. This sounds strange to say, and please, I understand what it sounds like. We've been assured by a great power that the wall will not fall. There is no concern there.
Whether or not there is concern, what happens when the wall falls?
The contingency. The same ice mages that have been holding the wall together at the far end of the lakes will drain the lakes, pulling up its water, and just closing the gap. We would immediately forfeit the lands that is between the wall and the inner portion of the lakes and construct a new one temporarily from there. It would be a fallback, it would work temporarily, but would be far weaker than what we currently have, because it means that they would just simply be able to hop onto the lakes and cross over much more easily. At that point in time, we do have a couple of surprises laid out for them. Hurt them enough that it would slow their advance, give us some time to appropriately handle the measures. We have to reallocate our forces from the south to the north. It's one of the reasons why we've kept so many where we do along our borders as opposed to in Yovance, so we can call them back if we need to. We'd more or less have to call all of our reserves from the north down to the east to make sure that they can once again hold that position. But most importantly, Galdaria. Our allies in Galdaria. We have assurance that in our most dire times, they will come to aid us. If you can trust such assurances.
I never do.
Because you're not a fool.
So what happens when Yovance falls?
There's been no strategy put in place that I'm confident to tell you right now as being an answer.
Fair enough. So then the hard question will go to the council. When we ask these people, what will you do when these things happen? How many of them will say, flee? How many of them will say, protect their own interests? How many of them will say what they need to say to seem loyal to Amulta at the time, but will secretly plan to solve their own problems?
I do not know whose alliances lean so far this way or that such things would happen. I do know that there are those that have close alliance with Galdaria. Should Galdaria not come to our aid, they would have to make a decision. Are they betrayed by Galdaria and stay united with Amulta? Or do they, as you said, see to their own and flee to safer, higher ground? Same with Ascaria and so on. We all understand how this goes. There are those, however, that do not have close family ties outside of our borders. They are just so vested in their own interests right now, they can't see so many years into the future. So many months into the future.
If we even have that long.
I often said we're 2 battles away from falling.
Have you heard the name Icarus?
Icarus. This name...
Or a lander?
Lander. Lander sounds like a first name.
It is.
I don't know.
Hold on, what's
Huvane?
his last
No, it's
name?
not. That's right.
We did.
That's, no,
We
it's
did have
Demon
his
Boy.
last name,
De Bellum.
right?
De Bellum, yeah.
Thank you.
Leonard De Bellum.
Yes, I actually do know of Lander. I do. I've never met him personally. He was a noble in Yovance some years ago. Led an army. Got his son killed. I think he left Yovance. Honestly, I don't keep too close ties with the nobility of Yovance, especially those ones that don't matter. So, I remember he was a general of... Well, he led
Was he good?
poorly. No,
Okay.
He lost, I think, 3 battles in a row, and then his son died.
Well, that might be a big hindrance in our plan, Oscar.
Not
Our plan, just to be blankly clear with you, since you are actually the most trustworthy person we could talk to right now, is to have a nation secede from Yovance, a free slave state, and have them as a buffer zone with the aid of Amulta and hopefully Galderia, for them to be a stronger buffer zone, while Chrisellen, Oscar, and I maybe work on destabilizing the government of Yovance as is.
This is a risky gamble. Now listen, I'm not going to sit here and sing praises to the plan that we had before. We were aiding Yovance, keeping their nation together, because they were the border between our enemies and our boundaries. But you're forcing a collapse that would potentially speed up the amount of time it would take for Paradel to find its way to our border. I understand what your plan is, potentially putting another state, but who's to say that this other buffer zone is one that would also be able to hold back Paradel?
We don't know. The idea is that
It will not be able to with physical might alone. They will no longer have whips at their back to fight forward. We know what kind of soldiers they have to the south. Let's not lie to each other on this, but what would keep Paradel at bay? What would give them pause for moving forward?
this is going to sound idiotic and maybe shocking coming from me, but I spoke to the Queen about getting the Sill's aid.
I know very little about...
They are the strongest elemental mages I've ever seen. They hold back with brute strength the Arcane Congress.
The Sill. Please correct me if I'm wrong in my understanding of the history of them, because these are matters that are rather removed from Amulta. The Sill are a group of magical miscreants that carve themselves a small home by making a deal with sorry, out of game. 1 second.
Taziendale.
Thank you.
Taziendale.
My own nation. With Taziendale, correct?
Yes. Also, the fact that Taziendale has betrayed the Arcane Congress before. Taziendale doesn't want to work with the Arcane Congress. They have to.
Nobody wants to work with the Arcane Congress except for perhaps Ascaria.
But the Sill, I believe, are cousins of my people. I don't know their true history. It's nothing but propaganda, I believe.
Let's go through this thought experiment. The plan is to have the Sill make another carved out little home, not within Amulta's borders, in their own little state, carved out of Yovance along our border. This positions them in their small little state, I believe to our northwest, and another one to our southeast. Who's to say they don't try to connect the dots? Powerful with magic, you say?
They're not greedy. in
How
that
experienced
sense.
with them are you?
None. Everyone I've ever met, I killed.
This sounds like you have guilt speaking, not facts.
They are the only force of mages that I know can hold back the Arcane Congress's aid with Perindale. There is another group that we found along our travels. A group of dwarves, or at least that's what they like to call themselves.
His
We were
head
thinking
snapped
maybe-
up. Like, what? Dwarves.
Yes, they call themselves that. They like to call themselves that. It seems like a clan of people that live underground. They need aid, and Perindale supposedly is helping them. But Perindale lacks nuance, and they just throw bodies at issues unless they're actually interested, and I don't think they are. I would like to go see what their problems are myself and see if we could help them and gain their alliance.
Because if we can, they are powerful. The one that we met
Could have killed me 3 times.
almost killed all 3 of us.
Why
Managed
didn't
to
he?
trap me in a house full of fire. And, well, Griselin kept Lazo alive. I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember jumping off of a roof with 2 just soldiers. in my arms. One made it.
It was a tough battle. Going through each step is useless because they were also he was also aided
Gentlemen,
by
I'm
a
going to interrupt
numerous.
you. You talk about 2 potential allies that are both very capable in magic. I'm not against utilizing allies. I'm not against utilizing other magics. It's more proof that the Arcane Congress is wrong. We all can agree to this. But once again, these are hopes based off of gut feelings. You can't make decisions in war simply on gut feeling alone. We need facts, which means you want this plan to go through. You were giving a task. That task, plain and simple, stabilize Yovance. Keep our border to the south secure. You're trying to take a different route. Destabilize Yovance. Keep our border to the south secure. Either or potentially both of these peoples can be allies to us. They can be introduced to the people that currently live there, and they can make a new home together. Sounds wonderful. However, you had a conversation with one man from one group that, let's be honest, thinks it's a dwarf. Probably not the best whatever
Source.
to put before the source to put before the queen. And the Sill, who you have guilt for. My suggestion, pick one of these paths. Walk it. See who you can get to come and aid.
dwarves
Paragon
would be
or
easier.
Renegade.
The dwarves would definitely be Paragon. I mean, the Sill would definitely be Paragon.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, healing my inner pain. The dwarves would probably be much easier than the Sill because of my connections.
The dwarves are running directly against Paradel. We will run into Paradel soldiers. We will run into resistance. We will run into problems. It's better if we're sneakier with that. I don't think that that's a problem, more just thinking strategy.
I understand. You just wouldn't be able to take your Venator outfits. Otherwise,
Yeah.
neither Castellan or I come off as a Maltese.
Yeah. I mean, I come off as a Maltese whether I'm wearing the armor or not, let's be honest.
Slouch more.
I cannot do that. My posture is perfect.
Just made me super
Your posture
self-conscious.
is.
I'm like,
I know.
sit up.
I think that's the easiest route. I think the more potent route will be the Sill. They are above and beyond the most powerful mages I've ever come across.
Should we even go that route?
If you think about where it is that you would be going, you're passing through 2 states to get there.
Yeah. That's a lot of travel.
We can also speak to Tazy and Dale. They have tenuous ties with the Arcane Congress. They might not come to our aid, but turn at the right moment against them.
Cause enough disruption.
When there's some kind of weakness, to maybe the AC won't be able to focus all of its aid onto the Perrin.
Political outreach isn't exactly your and my specialty.
Of course, we're gonna have to speak to Crystalline. And I'll look to the thing and go, by the way, don't be awkward about it anymore. This is stupid. We need her. You know what I'm talking about. We know
What do you know, Laszlo?
that she's your child.
I'm sorry, what?
She told us.
I was not listening.
Do you remember? There's a whole thing.
Oh.
I was not listening to that part, apparently. I apologize.
She wants nothing to do with you. So keep it that way and be professional. Don't ask to speak to her because you want to.
It's good for a general to know what diplomats are going to be pushing forward their cause.
I won't speak on it again.
He says nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the general that was in the room with us in the court? Oscar.
Mr. Bobby.
I get my notes right here. Hold
Is
on.
it that's the Bobmo one, right?
That's the one that was
Bombo.
like...
Garrett Bombo, yes.
Bombo. Yeah. Bombo. What about him? He's not likely to break an alliance with Yovance. Stubborn, persistent, focused on keeping promises.
So, what promises do we need to break so that he doesn't break his code?
I don't think it's his code he's worried about, it's Amulta's.
If you're asking the general this, he thinks for a moment and says, he's a man of his word, to a fault. It's an honorable thing. He will... a union was made with Yovance. And as long as Yovance stands, he will look to uphold that union, unless he is outvoted.
So we just have to win the vote. And he will side with Amulta?
If it is the Queen's bidding, he will follow.
Out of curiosity, what is his word to Amulta?
To Amulta?
What does Amulta believe of his word? You're his general, are you not? You're his commander.
My apologies. You're asking, like, what is...
How much weight does his word have?
How much weight does his word have?
Oh, so he says, first and foremost, I'm not his general. I'm the general. He is a nobleman. And secondly, heavy.
Fair.
Understand what was given up by his family.
Yeah.
Should we ever go to war with Galdaria, it would be his family against his own extended family at the borders. As they were when we first won our independence.
And he would fight it, and his family would fight it, and they would go to the bitter end. Fair enough.
Do you have any other aid that you can give us, seeing how you've survived court for far longer than we have?
I didn't survive court. I stayed quiet. I listened. And I knew when to speak. And that was when the Queen asked me to. But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep the southern border secure. If you have to accomplish other things along the way, congratulations. But for now, that is our weak point. The wall will hold for some time. The north has no concerns for now. The east holds for now. Sorry, the west.
Southeast.
The west.
The west.
The west holds.
Yeah, he's talking about Ascaria.
You're talking
Yeah.
about Ascaria and Goldaria.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Yes. No,
Ascaria
that's
has not waged war with anybody in any amount of history I've ever learned.
Well, it would be poor financials for them too, so of course they haven't.
They're everybody's friend.
Everybody's friend, everybody's bank, everybody's magic dealer. Yeah. I imagine they and Qatar get along really well.
Doesn't respond.
Any advice on the nobles that do matter in Yovance? Since you said you only keep track of those.
I know little bits of them. If you're referring to destabilization, my suggestion, all the ones that have any amount of wealth or worth that remain are in the south. If you're trying to disrupt the north, it wouldn't be too difficult, but the south would remain strong. If you're trying to splinter off a nation to the north and make Yovance our enemy in the south, that's fine. That can be accomplished. But if you're trying to disrupt all of Yovance, to eliminate the entire nation, therefore we don't have a new enemy sitting around down there, but potentially a strong ally remaining to our south, you'd have to go to the heart of it. And good luck with that.
There is one thing we've heard of. I never heard of it before. Lady Greris brought it up. The Mole Syndicate?
It's, rumors, is best I can say. I unfortunately can't give you too much information about that, as I honestly don't know very little. It's rumors. You'd actually have to speak to somebody who's a little bit more involved in such matters. While I am not a member of the intelligence agency, they obviously reports to the Queen, and oftentimes through me. I know of the concept, but not of them directly, because we've never had to deal with them. Just rumors. I would suggest...
Yes, I was going to say that's the same that Lady Greris says, just word that she's heard.
Have you been to Hecatsia? Are you familiar with the woman that rules the place?
Hecatsia.
It's
literally
the town where
That's where we just were. Yeah,
I was gonna say I know it is a little Ascaria because that's what my brain
Yes,
was saying.
Chris Ellen was successful with speaking to Lady Isaac there.
Ah. You mean, of course, Lady Isaac of Hecatsia, not Lady Isaac of Heplon, correct?
I didn't know there was two.
Are they cousins?
Sisters.
Sisters?
What kind of
We
contact?
saw her, right? We saw
Hold
her.
on.
Krilla Isaac. She is,
Grisellin's been focused on Lady Isaac of Heplon.
Oh. Well, Krilla Isaac, if you can speak to her, you can glean more information about these rumors to the south. She would know far better. It's her responsibility to see such things.
Is she part of the what's the name of the intelligence group?
Preclarum.
The Preclarum?
Yep. She is one of its classified information, of course.
Right.
but she is one of the leaders of the Bricklarum. She is a savant.
Mm. That would have been a powerful person to speak to while we were there.
Hopefully,
go
with
back.
Chrysellin's interactions with her sister, she was able to make some degree of relationship. But be careful of that woman. She's kind, gregarious, quick-witted. She'll jab a joke, and she means it in jest. But she's conniving. She's watching your reactions. My telling you this, she'll watch the fact that you seem to be watching her reactions.
She'll know. It's so usual business with dealing with the Bricklarum, but amplified to the point where this person is better than anyone else we've ever met from the Bricklarum.
I don't know how many you've interacted with beforehand, but yes, she is very capable. She has her own network that works underneath her. I know very little about this, and once again, this is classified information, so please keep this close to you.
Mm.
Laszlo, this might interest you a bit more than it would Oscar. There's another type of magic that the Bricklarum use that isn't taught to most people, or isn't trained by most people in Amulta. Shadow magics. She herself is a practitioner of these shadow magics.
Interesting. Okay. Please be blunt, knowing that it doesn't really matter what you say to us. We'll most likely die soon.
So
Lady-
optimistic. I'm
No, I'm
glad that
realist.
Amulta's fate rests on your shoulders.
Oscar
It's
chuckled.
a low bar.
As I said to you early, Laszlo, I've got like 50 years left in me at least.
Lady Arceum, I saw her dealing with the Arcane Congress. When I spoke to the Arcane Congress directly, they came. I found out. Well, actually, I didn't find out from them. I found them from Aviv. I found out that they were there specifically for a job, to make some kind of arrangement or do some kind of job. Does Lady Arceum work with them directly?
It's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. The nobles don't sit in the castle all day, same as neither did I. My responsibility is to oversee the armies. That is often in the castle, where you have central reporting of locations, battles, so on and so forth. Occasionally I'll go closer so I can get more rapid updates. But I stay in the castle, for the most part. She goes as she needs, working on her magics. She's a bit more reclusive, since some of her closest friends died some time ago in the war. Different reasons here and there. Stray arrow catching somebody by misfortune, or well-trained assassin overseeing the construction of the walls, or another friend of hers died in a fire in his own home. A few others, just situations they couldn't get themselves out of. She's a brilliant woman, but more and more often surrounded by less brilliant people.
The type of people that would be targets for the Arcane Congress if they were trying to weaken Amultese magic. Yes?
Say that one more time.
The type of people that would be targeted by the Arcane Congress if they were trying to weaken Amultese magic, correct?
I assume foul play, of course. But I don't have proof. Not for all of them. Some of them, yes. Not all of them.
Okay. That actually eases my worries some. It should make her less likely to trust the Arcane Congress. Not in bed with them.
Or more likely to make a deal with them. Always the cynic.
Well, then that puts us at square one. Thanks, Oscar.
Of course. Happy to be of help.
Heathguard, are you in need of aid?
I don't know.
You're still alive, and you're still away. I know that you don't have current information on your actual whereabouts. If there's something that we can help you with, Heathguard, I've known you for 10 years. Let me know.
If I knew where I was, if I knew what I was doing, I still don't know if I would tell you. It's no small ask to make these items, he says, kind of like gesturing in front of him, which has no purpose, like gesturing through this window right here, you know. But it was felt to be necessary.
Okay. That is all. I don't have anything else. Oscar, do you?
If you are doing something that is high enough risk and you haven't been giving information or reports back, who would they send?
Sneaky son of a bitch.
They were trying to keep it quiet. Once again, it's the Preclarum. They would know. But it was specifically Lady Arceum that put this together. She might know more than she lets on.
Fair enough.
I don't really see her as the kind that'll do this kind of magic. As Lazo, you understand the ritual. Without knowing more.
Did she expect you to come back?
Her and I aren't close. I didn't ask. And I couldn't tell.
Fair enough.
Yeah. She's a hard woman to read. I can say that.
Well, I've never known you, Heathguard, to not be able to read somebody. So, surprises me, but fair enough. Thank you for your time.
Of course, because, truth be told, I have to piss really badly, so removing myself from this great window would be kind of nice.
And you know what? Same.
Yeah. And besides, all of us could use a vivacious, young, beautiful woman
Oh.
to join us to...
Do you guys not wear diapers?
I mean, I'm not wearing pants. I've got just kind of a bottle and a tube.
A homemade catheter.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
A
that
balloon.
sounds horrible.
You know how to sterilize things. It's really not that bad.
We're going to go take a break and get a little foxy in our life. All right? So see everybody shortly. So bad.
Sorry we attacked you so much.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I got to pee.